Hello and welcome to the Frame1 Light case foam installation guide. Before we get into this, I want to give a quick warning. The screws on the Frame1 are really tough to get out, so when you're doing it, just make sure to go very careful and try and keep your driver very straight. It's very easy to break the plastic post that the screws set in. Anyways, let's get started. The first thing you need to do is remove your switches and keycaps, and there'll be a tutorial video for that. I'll put it in the cards and link it in the description. Now to get started, you want to remove your bottom panel, and that's just these 6 screws here. So let's get going. Now with those screws out of the way, let's lift the back panel off of the Frame1. Go ahead and set it aside. Now at this point you want to go ahead and remove the PCB from your Frame1. You should have already removed the switches and keycaps, so they'll just be these 5 screws here, 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 and here. Now with those screws out of the way, go ahead and carefully lift your PCB out of the Frame1 from the bottom so you pull up the port and set it down somewhere safe. So I'm just going to set it on top of the plastic part of the bottom case. That's a good spot for it. With that out of the way, go ahead and remove the plate from your Frame1. So that's just these 6 screws right here. Okay, now with those screws done, go ahead and lift the plate out of your Frame1 and set it aside. Now at this point, we can begin to install our first piece of foam. Go ahead and find your 2 pieces of top case foam. They should both just slot right into the Frame1 Light. Very nice and simply. Just line it up with all the holes and press down everywhere. Make sure the foam gets in between all the nooks and crannies of the switch covers and all the screw posts. Spend a little time just making it good. It should fit flush with everything. The foam should not be sticking up above anything. One thing I forgot to mention, if you buy the version that includes support for brick boards, it'll look a little different when you're installing the bottom foam, but it should fit in just the same way. Alright, now with that in there, we can go ahead and reinstall our plate. So pick it up, set it down into the Frame1, and go ahead and screw down the 6 screws again. Now with that out of the way, we can go ahead and install the next piece of foam. Go ahead and grab your plate foam and stick it down in between all the screw posts and the screws that are in the Frame1 Light. Should fit nice and well with everything inside. Now with that down, we can go ahead and grab our PCB and reinstall that. So be careful with the port, make sure it goes down into the hole. It should sit nice and flat. You can check to see if it's in there if the port is sticking over the plastic. And now go ahead and reinstall all the screws for the PCB. Now that you have your PCB screwed in, at this point I would recommend going ahead and reinstalling all of the switches back into your Frame1, but not the keycaps just yet. Once they're all reinstalled, you can go ahead and verify that all of your switches are still working. Now with your switches reinstalled and verified, we can go ahead and install the last piece of case foam into the Frame1. So grab the last piece of foam. As usual, it should line up with all of the screw posts and screws. Now with that there, you can go ahead and reinstall the back panel. Go ahead and screw it down with the 6 screws. With all the screws reinstalled, you can go ahead and reinstall all your keycaps at this point now. With your keycaps reinstalled, you now have a Frame1 Light with case foam. Thank you very much for watching, and make sure to check the description for all the resources.